There's a hidden bias in the NBA that nobody is talking about. Before I begin, we all seen Damian Lillard drop 71 points the other night, right? Well, guess what? He got his blood drawn right after the game and got tested for PEDs. The weirdest part to me about all of this is that the same exact night, Nikola Jokic scored 47, 17, and 10, and he didn't get his blood drawn once. And this is interesting because an interesting topic about this was brought up on I Am Athlete.
By drug testing somebody after such an incredible game, it's almost saying in so many words, you can't do that without help.
Facts.
And it makes me feel a certain type of way. So I wonder on the other side of that, as a player with God-given talent who can go out and do incredible things on a court, night in and night out, or on a field, what does that feel like when you get that call like, great game, I need you to come compete?
Right. That's a good question.
Like, what does that feel like?
Two things. One, they're not getting tested for weed, so let me pat myself on the back, me and Matt, because they're not getting tested for weed no more. We had a lot to do with that, so they can care less about the drug test.
Right.
But one, the NBA be showing their hand, because Luka had 60, 20, and 15, something like that. He didn't get drug tested, but Donovan Mitchell gets 71, he get drug tested. So they just showing their hand. They still showing how unfair it is. It's right there in your face. Luka had a 60, 20 triple-double. He didn't get drug tested, but
Against
Donovan
my
Mitchell.
Knicks at that.
You know what I'm saying? But Donovan Mitchell have 71. So they're just showing you how unfair it is. All you gotta do is open your eyes. This is not done by accident. All this is intentional.
Now look, I don't want to be the guy that automatically assumes prejudice when stuff like this happens in the NBA, but let's be real here. Why are guys like Damian Lillard and Donovan Mitchell get drug tested after great performances, and Jokic and Luka could put up these magnificent performances, but they didn't even get considered once? It's almost like the league doesn't believe that performance like this could happen without drugs being involved, when in reality, those guys have shown that they are capable of doing this night after night. Am I disagreeing with the notion that players should get drug tested to begin with? No, that's not what I'm saying. I believe every player should get drug tested in order to look for PEDs because you can't cheat the game. But at the same time, if you're going to hunt a certain group of people and make it look extremely obvious, that just brings more bias into your initiative. And all I want is consistency. It's not far-fetched that this is a sign of the NBA flexing its muscle, because if you really want to fix a credibility issue, why don't you drug test all the players? And no disrespect to the guys that actually put in the work, but you gotta be consistent on that end. The NBA anti-drug agreement was created in 1983 in order to crack down drug use in the league, and it specified that players should be tested at least 4 times a season. So why is it that Ja Morant got tested a total of 7 times this year so far? And we all know how much of a freak athlete he is. There was even one instance that free agent Michael Carter Williams posted a picture of himself on Instagram looking swole, and then guess what? The crew was outside his house the next day. Bol was even targeted in 2020, where he came off the bench and scored 16 and 10, but the league drug tested him right after. At this point, everybody knows that there's some type of bias going on when it comes to stuff like this. On top of this expands outside of basketball. DK Metcalf recently got called by the NFL to take a drug test when he was shown on film high jumping to catch a ball, playing in a celebrity game, and just being a daunting physical specimen. What's even sicker about this is all during the offseason. So what's the point of taking the test anyway? This trend has been going on for years. Remember when Brad Beal went on that huge scoring run in 2020? The league drug tested him a few times during that stretch. And the strangest part is, during that entire season, the NBA suspended drug testing for marijuana, so they just only surveyed for cocaine, opioids, and PEDs. And the one thing that's annoying about this, every time I hear a rebuttal about Jokic and Luka about why they're not getting drug tested, I hear the weakest response saying that they just are who they are as players, where you don't even consider the guys that they target are capable scorers themselves. You think that there's a certain privilege for Jokic and Luka just because they're superstars in the league. Dame is a superstar as well, so why can't he get that same respect? And it's really dumb to me because what drug does the NBA possibly think these players take in order to shoot for 30 feet? It can't be steroids because it's shown to amplify your muscle mass. So wouldn't that just ruin your shot? All I'm saying is, if you really read between the lines with this type of thing, you know exactly where all this stems from.